and the thunder rolls. Welcome to Raw Talk. As always, I'm going to have a link down below in the description box to credit WWE for piecing this article together beautifully for yours truly. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Sami Zayn stood up to the Judgment Day. This was a nice little way to get the party started. Chad Gable defeats Matt Riddle, Ricochet, and Tommaso Ciampa to become number one contender to Gunther's Intercontinental title. This was really, really nice to see. And it's not just because it was Minneapolis's own Chad Gable, but because he totally deserves it. Real Olympic athlete. Dude is a monster. I mean, some of the moves that was going on in there with everybody was just absolutely wild. And it's always a pleasure to see Chad Gable and Matt Riddle and, you know, a few of the other people in there, Ricochet as well. This, again, had the E in WWE. It was entertaining. It was great. I don't know if he's going to go off and defeat Gunther, because what I'm thinking is this. When's the last time we had a tag team where they're predominantly a tag team and they stay a tag team and they don't do singles competition, but you have one of them winning a singles competition belt? That I don't recall that ever happening. So very bizarre as to whether or not that could happen. And then what, he's going to do singles and tag team? I don't know. Either which way, you know it's coming. It's going to be interesting to see what comes of this. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats the big Bronson Reed. Again, with this matchup, no interference. Great match as always. Always a pleasure to see these two go at it with one another, or anybody else for that matter. I really can't wait to see what's going to be in store for Bronson, how much they're going to push him for the future. That ref, I forget his name, but he looks like he could be a superstar. It's rare, just because he's in the picture now, so I have to mention it. Not something I usually talk too much about, because they're not really in the middle of the action. I mean, they're getting themselves in the middle of the action, but they're not a part of our story usually. I think he's the most built, like, ref, where it's like, hey, man, listen to my orders. You start goosing around, you're going to find out. Like, he could do that. Anyways, that's kind of cool. Shayna Baszler interrupts Becky Lynch and Zoe Stark. This was, again, an interesting little thing. She's got a real injury there to her eye, the orbital and all that. And it was pretty wild because it goes back to what I was talking about at SummerSlam. Was that a real match? Like, was that like a real MMA non-sanctioned WWE match like the ref was stating? It started to make me wonder that it was real, and whether or not it was real or not, she got bonked hard. But anyways, the promo, this was actually pretty decent. Becky Lynch, I mean, I expect nothing but the great promos. I expect nothing less of Becky. My goodness, it helps if I could speak properly. Zoe Stark, like I said, I think is a natural. And what I really enjoyed about this whole thing was when they ended up wrestling, right? Two brutes going at it. None of this dainty Chelsea green kind of stuff. Don't ask me what that was, and don't edit that video and start spreading it all over the place, unless you're gonna, share this video. Could go viral just for that moment. It'd be great. I could make a nickel. Yeah, so this was great. Then she looked on the match, and then they took her backstage. She was giving an interview, and then Shayna Baszler was all like, and I was kind of like, hey, calm down, because she's all like, I'm coming for the man sooner or later, and it's like, why? She didn't disrespect you. Like, there's no developing story there. She's not a champion right now, so it's kind of like, why is she setting her eyes? Why are her eyes set on the man? I don't know, but whatever. This was a great match, like I said. Really nice. It didn't feel safe. It was brutality. There it is there. Shayna Baszler states she will come for Becky Lynch soon. It's like, okay, great. I'm right here. Come for me now. But okay. Yeah, see, after suffering a litany of injuries, but again, I never know if those injuries are scripted or real. Like in the case of Raquel Rodriguez, her knee injury is 100% a work. It's scripted. It's fake. It's not a real injury. Okay? Ludwig Kaiser defeats Otis. As always, I didn't like how it ended there with the Giovanni. He's trying to look like me. Okay? I really enjoyed the match. I love Otis to bits. Same thing with Ludwig. And I just didn't like the way it ended, but whatever, right? It was just really nice to see, as always. I like seeing these guys, both Otis and Chad, kind of do a couple of single stuff. I like when they do that, when it's not just tag team only sort of thing. We'll get on to some other stuff. Oh, man. LA Knight introduced himself to The Miz. Now, this was really, really good. This was probably one of the biggest highlights of the night for me. The Miz really is just that, a Grand Slam superstar. He is amazing. And he's been in the company for 2 decades. Called LA Knight a flavor of the month. An Attitude Era fanboy cosplaying. It was just so good. But LA Knight held his own. Like, I mean, did he ever hold his own? This was magic. This is a feud I want to see, because these two are red hot. Wow. Again, this right here, one of the biggest highlights of the night for me. The New Day defeat the Viking Raiders. So Kofi had ankle surgery. That was real. He was out for 5 months. Came back. A lot of injuries again going on in the WWE. We still got Randy Orton out of action. We still have Braun Strowman out of action with some real injuries. Again, like I said, Kevin Owens with his ribs. This was good because I just enjoyed seeing them coming back. They didn't look... It didn't look like Kofi lost a beat. It looks like I lost a beat with trying to speak really fast. But Kofi, no ring rust. He did absolutely amazing, and now I got something in my eye. That's okay. And this is why I could never be a color commentator in WWE. There's always something going on. Raquel Rodriguez blindsided Rhea Ripley. I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember this. I don't know what was I sneezing? Did I get up to go urinate? I don't know. But I don't remember that part. So I can't comment on it. I'm sorry. But let's move on and pretend like it didn't happen. Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Shinsuke Nakamura defeated the Judgment Day. And it was cool, but I could tell the whole time, even in the interview with Shinsuke Nakamura, that was all like, you know what? I want to be your tag team partner. I mean, maybe that's not what he actually said with that sound there. I just knew he was up to no good. And then it proved me right with this. Right there. Lays out fucking Rollins. So I guess he is going full-blown heel. He really, really is. And in the meantime, let's talk about a couple of things. No. Yeah, this was just weird. The whole Maxime Dupri. Because he's actually engaged to Tammy something. I can't remember her name. She's on NXT. Then you've got JD McDonough. Suggests Damian Priest cash in soon. But then again, he was just like, you know what? Get rid of that briefcase or something. And this leads me to this moment where JD McDonough attacks Zayn to probably get in the good books of the Judgment Day. But if you look at that injury, that's a real injury. Okay? You also have Sonya Deville with a torn ACL who is out indefinitely. And she's a part of the Women's Tag Team Championships along with Chelsea Green. So then you got the Women's Tag out of action. You got the Men's Tag Team Champs out of action. The 2 of them with real injuries. Just like with Sonya Deville. These aren't scripted injuries. This looks, and I'm no doctor, hell, I never even finished high school, but that looks classic tricep torn, tricep injury. It's the fluid that builds up when you tear your tricep. And I learned a lot of that from Mr. John Cena when it looked like he had an 8-ball in his elbow. Okay? So that's not his bone. Okay? I mean, I'm not saying it couldn't be, but based on how round it is, that's the fluid buildup. And I doubt that they injected him with some fluid, put a bunch of makeup in there to make it look. I mean, it's possible. Look what they did with, the movie, The Whale, Brandon Fraser. Okay? I mean, if they can make him look like Jabba the Hutt, right? I'm sure they can make somebody's elbow look more swollen than it is. But I have a feeling, and this is not confirmed because I looked into it, I haven't found any concrete evidence to support that this is a legit injury, but it sure as hell looks pretty damn real, okay? So that would be a huge blow because, like I said, we got just a lot of injuries, a couple of people coming back from injuries, and then getting re-injured again, like Liv Morgan is out again with a real injury. This time it's the opposite shoulder of the one that she had originally injured and just came back from. Like, wow, I don't know what's going on, but there's a lot of injuries going on, and it really, really sucks to see that, obviously. These can be quite devastating and quite serious. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I was talking about how I didn't even remember that. Yeah, so this was a fun match. I enjoyed it, and I kind of like a little bit of the bickering. I don't know what this is here. The bickering that was going on between Cody and Seth, because ultimately in the end they got a lot of history. Remember, Cody went against Seth and beat him 3 times out of 3. He's 3-0 against Seth. A little bit of bad blood there, but come on, Seth, you're a good boy. You're a face now. But he shook Cody Rhodes' hand, didn't backstab him. And there's also something else I want to mention. Yeah, see, this part was suspicious, and my suspicions were correct. There is something I want to mention in the opening that they didn't show here. The opening of the show, I just remembered it. They opened it with one of my all-time favorites of all time, across all generations and promotions, the American Nightmare. Cody Rhodes opened up, and this was beautiful how this opened up, because it featured him saying, that he was shocked by that thing with Brock Lesnar shaking his hand, lifting his arm, and all that. And in all his years, in the over 20 years that Brock Lesnar has been in the WWE, and I believe even in the UFC. Listen to this. I don't know what this was. You don't need to watch me. You just need to listen. That was the first time in history ever, scripted or not, I don't give a shit, that Brock Lesnar has ever shook someone's hand like that and then raised their arm in victory. No cheap shots, no broken arms, no low blows, just legit sportsmanship. Walked away at SummerSlam. And then when Cody did his little speech at the intro, what was even more surprising, I was like, oh, please, oh, please, oh, please. Notice how Cody Rhodes didn't go on belittling Brock Lesnar, right? He didn't go on to humiliate him with his words. Brock Lesnar never came out. Like, he just let Cody have his moment and talk about the handshake. They put it up on the Tron or whatever it's called. And to me, that was great. It's moments like that that don't happen too often, but it happened, and I think it was amazing. I don't know what's going to come of it for the future. It's going to be, it's coming interesting to see what transpires of that. Is it like really over? What's next for Brock Lesnar? It looks like that chapter is done with Cody. I just don't know where things are going right now on the Raw brand. I don't know. Like I said, it's just wow. But I had fun. Like I said, we can do this every week where people comment down below in my videos. How could you like this? How could you like that or maybe not like this? Listen, like I said, I enjoy professional wrestling for what it is. I don't give a rat's ass what the promotion is. Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro, AEW, old school ECW, WC. I don't give a crap. Is it wrestling? I'm going to enjoy it. There's going to be some bits I enjoy more of one promotion than another, but it doesn't matter. Some people prefer AEW over WWE. So for them, AEW is better than WWE because they enjoy that more. I tend to gravitate, as you can tell on my channel, a little bit more to WWE. I think there's just, no offense, more to talk about. Whereas if I just covered AEW, there would be, no offense, at least at first glance, there seems to be potentially a little bit less to talk about. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, there's just not enough hours in a day. If there was like 30 hours in a day, I would probably cover WWE as well and some of the other promotions that Matt Cardona is with and all that. I'd probably get into all that, follow up with like, Dustin Rhodes, right? Who's going on 30 something years now wrestling come this September next month. Be nice to do, but I can't do it. Anyways, that's enough rambling. As always, if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. I mean, it does greatly help support the channel with the algorithm. And if you didn't like the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. You know it's coming. It's the same shit every week. But we'll bend it in half. We'll twist it. We'll go to break it off in your ass, but with a big Bronson Reed boot. Right in the thumb, jammed in your woohoo. Don't ask me. That made sense to me in the moment. I didn't think that one through. Moving along, and if you want to subscribe to the channel, naturally that would be great for obvious reasons. But if not, trust me, I get it. There's a lot of phenomenal wrestling YouTubers out there. Assemble, BDE, aka Brandon Does Everything, even though he doesn't do everything. He just does wrestling. Should be Brandon Does Wrestling, BDW. I'm ATW, he's BDW. Yeah, never mind that. Macho T. Small afro, big afro, I forget. I think it's small afro. I can't, it's small, big. That's what she said, she forgets. Okay, we're just going to leave it there. Take care, and maybe I'll see some of you in the next one. Bye for now.